All right, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. Good morning if you're on the West Coast, like Fish Tank Hank. This is Bobby FinsTalk today. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button to the FinsTalk Network. Evan, good morning, my friend. It's good to see you. Now, man, it's been kind of a slow week if you're a Dolphins fan, but like I always say, it's not slow if you're on the FinsTalk Network, and especially FinsTalk today. Smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you for everyone for watching. First off, Hank, as always, let's get the pleasantries out of the way, my friend. How are you this week?
I'm doing great. I got another showing today. Got a little bit of a cough going on, but that might be from green stuff. But you know me. I gotta start my weekends right. So, but no, I'm doing good. I've been watching a little bit of football news here and there, and there isn't a lot on the Dolphins other than a few controversial things. So we're gonna have a little fun today. So that's right. What I'm hyped up for is a little bit of fun on the show today.
Absolutely. Well, get the controversial stuff out of the way. We you got that Sean Payton news that came out, or report. Which, I mean, obviously, we both know. I mean, everybody knows when there's truth, there's fire. There's smoke, there's fire. But what's there is there. We've discussed it. I believe the Dolphins were trying to make a splash. And whether that was getting Brady or getting Peyton, that's what it was. But it didn't happen. The Flores lawsuit occurred. They stuck with Tua, which is fine. It's a win-win situation. Either he is who he is, or he's not, and you move forward. And then you got Mike McDaniel, who the fans, not only the fans, but the league in general is high on. And if he turns out to be what people expect him to be, then again, it's a win-win. If not, you move forward. We're good. We got 2 first-round picks next year. I'm not worried about it. But let's go ahead and talk about a little more sweeter things today, as Evan would like to say, as he's here commenting live on the show, and thank you to everyone else, is positivity. So let's kind of go with it. First, let's start off with the running back room, Hank. Before we get to our main event, which is fact and fiction, that's going to be fun. But the running back room, I mean, it's a full house right now. You got Myles Gaskin, Salvon Ahmed, you got Sonny Michel, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, and then, of course, undrafted free agent Saquon White. When you look at this list, now I would say, full disclosure, is that White has been making some headlines in the offseason. He's been doing very well, supposedly very liked by the coaching staff. So that might be a sign of where he might fall in this conversation. But if you're looking at this list, Hank, who's your odd man out in this room? Salvon Ahmed?
Definitely Ahmed. You got Gaskin, Mostert, Edmonds, Michelle, and White. Yeah, I like those.
Yeah. And I know Evan just brought up Gerard Dokes. And the thing is, he's another odd man out, in my opinion. I did forget him because he's forgettable. He hasn't done anything. Now, he might surprise us in camp. I don't know. But right now, I think Ahmed's a good answer. I think it's a safe answer. I happen to agree because I think Gaskin could thrive in this offense. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Gaskin is somebody that somebody might consider to trade for. Miami might waive as trade bait, especially if White makes the roster. But I absolutely agree with you. I think with this, Raheem Mostert, yeah, the injury concerns, but he's familiar with the offense, familiar with Mike McDaniel, fits right in there. And I think when he's on the field, he offers big play ability. Chase Edmonds, I think. Go ahead.
I like Saquon White too, though. Don't get me wrong. I like this young kid. I was checking him out before the draft, so I'm kind of glad Miami wound up getting him, and I think he's positive. There's a lot of good things he can do, so I hope he makes the team. And remember, a lot of these people that don't make the team go to the practice squad too. So
that's true.
It's not like we completely lose everybody.
No, and I think that might be the case with Gerard Dokes if he doesn't make the roster. It's a practice squad body. I think White is a favorite of the staff. I think he's performed well. And like you said, the Dolphins were looking. I mean, Isaiah Spiller. That's the kind of report that McDaniel and the Dolphins really wanted, but he got picked up before. So Miami was looking at rookie backs, and White might fill that role for them. They did get, and then of course you got Chase Edmonds, who we both believe will probably be the starter going into the season. And then Sony Michel, who is, I think he had like 700, 900 yards. I'm missing out on that. I'm sure Evan will fix that up for me in just a second. That's what he does. But he's also familiar with the offense, playing in Sean McVay's offense with the Rams, which is familiar with McDaniel. So I expect him to get some touches. And again, the rookie White looks to be a favorite of the staff, so he's going to make it. So I think Gaskin and Ahmed and obviously Dokes are probably your odd man out. And Gaskin only because I think he's going to be trade bait because he does offer value. If he stays with us, I think that's great because I think Gaskin could thrive in this type of offense, being a multi-gadget type of player, receiving and running back.
Well, don't forget Ingold, too.
Alec Ingold, I think he's going to be maybe the impact signing for Miami as the fullback. And you're absolutely right, running back, receiver as well. But I think that offers so much more just because of how important the running game is in this offense, Hank. I think it's going to offer so much. So you're absolutely right. Don't forget Ingold. I picked him as my impact player for this offense, making the biggest impact as a free agent. 900 yards. Thanks, Evan. I appreciate you.
Evan, don't be voodooing us like that. Gaskin to the Patriots.
Maybe he's breaking news. I don't know. He usually fills me in. Now, what you're gonna like, I'll say very quick, Hank. You're gonna love this. Evan is gonna join overtime. Come on overtime. He's gonna take on Brett Lagasse. It's gonna be a Tua stan and a Tua. I wouldn't say he's a hater, but Tua hater. We're gonna have a little civil war going on. Evans is a Tua stan all the way. He supports Tua and all that. He's realistic. He's like you in that sense, but he definitely wants to go at Brett for the negativity. So that's going to be fun on overtime. So Evan's going to be joining us on overtime. It's going to be fun.
Right on.
So moving on. So I agree with you. I think you and I are on the same boat.
You go get him, Evan.
Oh,
get him, Evan.
He's going to have a lot of fun. I can't wait to see that. I'm going to have some topics to kind of keep them in line with it, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to let them roll with that. But anyway, Tyreek Hill. I know this has been talked about, but I haven't heard your opinion on it. But yeah. Tyreek Hill made headlines he's been talking about Tua. Juan Vasquez, who's on the Goon Squad and is a writer for the Fanatic, or the Fin Fanatic. He wrote an article about it, he thinks Tyreek Hill's he keeps talking about the Chiefs like a hurt ex or whatever. And that was a funny topic. So I want to talk to you about this, Hank, is that Tyreek, every time he brings up the something about the Dolphins, he talks about, he compares it to the Chiefs. He was saying that even though he considers Patrick Mahomes the better passer arm strength wise, he thinks that Tua is the better passer accurate wise. So my question for you is he playing it safe? Is he playing both sides here, or is he trying to make Tua feel better? Or do you think this is his genuine feelings?
No, I think that's a genuine feeling. I mean, he's been catching balls from 15, and he said that Mahomes had the stronger arm. I mean, he already came out and said that he's got a much stronger arm, but hey, if he's saying right now that Tua's throwing a more accurate ball down the field, well, guess what? That's only going to hurt defenses, not us. So I'm happy. I'm all the way with it. I believe he's trying to tell the truth. I do believe he's trying to support his man, Tua, but at the same time, I do believe he's telling the truth.
Well, first off, I want to say Triple S Podcast, thank you for tuning in. Great work, guys. They say, Hank, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Evan and Hank finished that off. Evan, I agree with you guys. Tyreek wants his quarterback to feel good about himself. I think that is the case. I don't think he's lying either because, first off, Tua has been known since college that being one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football. It is practice. I always say, let's wait till the pads are on in game action scenarios. But I think so I don't think he's lying that he's the most accurate quarterback because that's what has been proven throughout his career so far. If you have anything that on Tua, positive, it's the accuracy. But I will say too, Hank, to your point and to what Evan was saying, I think it is a lot about making his quarterback feel better. It's saying, hey, look, I played with one of the best and Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. We won a championship. Everybody knows how great Mahomes is. That is no question. Despite what anybody else is trying to say about what Tyreek's saying, he's not saying anything bad about Pat Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. But think about how Tua might feel when a great wide receiver like Tyreek is saying, hey, this guy's good at arm strength, but you're better as an accurate passer. That hypes you up. And so he's trying to do what's best, as Evan was saying, as you're saying, to hype his quarterback up. So next year, for this coming season, he has that on his back. That's the thing. Whatever his flaws are going to be his flaws. But I think what's going to be different from Tua in a couple from the years past, Hank, is his ego. He's going to be positive. He's not going to have that negativity on his back of being benched or coach not liking him or, the Deshaun Watson thing or anybody else. They're on him. Despite you hear all the other reports, like we were talking about with Brady, all that crap, that doesn't mean nothing. He knows McDaniel has his back. He knows his number one wide receiver, one of the best in football, has his back. So he's going to play his best football. What's up, the Dolphins Realtor? I think it's more about Tyreek trying to prove that he himself was a bigger factor in KC than they wanted to say and pay. That's true, too. Evan brought up a little while back, Hank, that, he's a diva, and that's like T.O. was, and that's okay. When you get a mega wide receiver like that, you get somebody like that.
I don't mind bringing in a little bit of a diva, but don't be a dominant diva. You can be a diva, but don't dominate everything. All right. You might want your money. You got your money. Now it's time to shut up and play. So hopefully, Tyreek knows what he knows from. I mean, come on. He's got plenty of time with Patrick Mahomes. We all know that. So we all know that if this guy's telling us that Tua's more accurate ball, then I see more passes downfield. I see Tua getting more time. I see running backs coming out of the backfield. I see Gesicki streaking. I see Waddle taking an angle. I see nothing but positive coming for the Miami Dolphins on offense this year.
And it should be. I mean, with the work they put in, the money they put in, the capital with Tyreek and Terran Armstead, Connor Williams, whether he plays guard or center. I mean, Cedric Wilson, the junior, and then the wide receiver, the rookie. Miami's put so much into this offense. Again, the only question mark is that quarterback. And if they hit on that with Tua, the sky's the limit. Now, I think you're absolutely right, everybody, on your points. Dolphins Realtor, agree. Play ball, absolutely. Now, let's see here. And that's the other thing, too. I think there was a good point brought up that with Tyreek, he wants to prove that he's his biggest factor in what Kansas City's success that Pat Mahomes was. So he's going to put his bets on Miami, which he has, and he's hyping that quarterback up to his young quarterback so he could prove that, hey, look, you should have paid me. You should have gave me what I wanted. Now look what I'm going to do in Miami with Tua, who might be the lesser quarterback than Mahomes. And, of course, again, it's a win-win for Miami because you got a guy with a chip on his shoulder in Tyreek. And if Tua is not that guy, you got 2 first-round picks either to go get your guy or to trade for or draft a guy, excuse me. So
I wouldn't necessarily say that Tua is a lesser quarterback, though. I would just say than Patrick Mahomes. No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say that he's got a different style than Patrick Mahomes. I have yet to see Tua get a full year in and play. So it's Patrick Mahomes has a stronger arm. We all know that. Everybody knows that. Then compare everything else, okay? Because, like I've said before, how many times are you throwing the ball 70 yards down the field? It's not that often. It really isn't. It really isn't. I mean, Tua can throw the ball at least 50 yards, folks. And if you're throwing somebody 50 yards on the run, he only has about 10 or 20 yards left to go to get to the end zone. So, I mean, there aren't too many of those throws that actually happen. But, when time dictates and the running backs are taking some of the pressure from coming through that offensive line and balls are being dumped off and you have wide receivers getting separation, which they weren't getting. And you start seeing all this separation. You got the running backs coming out of the back. Tua's going to get way more time than he used to. And remember, Holmes used to get about 3 seconds each snap. He gets about 3 seconds to throw the ball. Tua was getting 2.5 seconds. If you don't think a half a second's long, bite down as hard as you can on your finger and see how long you can do it. Half a second is a long time.
You hear that, everybody? Bite your finger as hard as you can for as long as you can. Get back to us. That's Hank's point. I love it. Now, I will say, you know what? You brought up the wide receivers, and you brought that up before the season ended last year about the work Miami had to do with the receivers unit. I forgot the term you used, but you were talking about they need to go get some T-bone steaks, not what they had then, and they did. The one key word with Miami's wide receivers is durability and being reliable, and that's the difference between the years past and now, or last year and now. Bite your finger, best line ever. I will say is that with these wide receivers, what Tua didn't have. We could talk about offensive line. We could talk about offensive coach. Great point, Evan. But it's these wide receivers. His most durable wide receiver, or his most reliable wide receiver, was Jalen Waddle. Devontae Parker in and out of the lineup. Albert Wilson in and out of the lineup. Will Fuller was he even playing for the Dolphins? Preston Williams was just a name. Lynn Bowden was out. So all these people who were supposed to be his reliable wide receivers weren't there. What has Miami done this offseason, Hank? Something that you said they needed to do. They got their T-bone steak. They got Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is obviously back. They got Cedric Wilson. They drafted that kid out of Texas Tech. They got Lynn Bowden is back. To me, and Preston Williams, who we don't know on or off the team, we don't know. We'll see. But point being is that they got receivers who are going to be reliable, that Tua can build that chemistry with, and to get him that chemistry to build off a good season, hopefully a good season coming next year.
Well, yeah, like Evan just said, you could do the Mike Tyson thing and bite the ear, but I figured bite the finger was the way to go. They used to have a saying back in the 80s. They used to call it bite the weenie. So, I mean, you can go with just about as much. Yeah, that's what it was called back in the 80s. They called it bite the weenie.
I don't know what green stuff you were smoking in the 80s. Whoa.
If they didn't like you or your saying or whatever you had to say back in the day, that was a dish back then.
So biting fingers, these are the things we've talked about so far besides Dolphins. Biting fingers, biting ears, biting tongues, and biting weenies. Whoa. I have
It's a great Saturday.
It's a
great Saturday. Don't you have that same stuff in your cup as I have in mine?
Oh, my goodness.
No, folks, it's all diet soda, folks. Trust me. There's no alcohol in my drinks. But there is green stuff in my yard and in my house.
All right. So let's move on as we go on this fun episode of FinsTalk today on your Saturday morning or noon. Now, Hank, we discussed a few weeks back about people were complaining that Sonny Michel was wearing number 34. So people on Twitter started saying that number should be retired. That's Ricky's number, blah, blah. And you were against it. You came out and said no, because he didn't retire as a Dolphin. He wasn't committed as a Dolphin. I'm paraphrasing, but those were some of the points. Last week on Overtime with Brett Lagasse and Juan Neal, we were discussing that 7:30 in the UK for Hank. There you go. We were discussing that there's only 3 players that are retired jerseys for the Dolphins. There's Bob Greasy, number 12, Zaka, 39, Marino, number 13. I was a little surprised by that. I knew that, but I don't know why I wasn't aware. I don't know. But there's a lot of players who are deserving to have their jersey retired as Miami Dolphins. A lot of players. To give you my answer, the question for them was, Hank, and you can answer this if you'd like as we go on to this point. I asked them 3 Dolphins in history that should have their number retired, and then 1 current player who should have, if you can predict, that may have their number retired. The 3 players I picked in history, Hank, were Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, and then I had to go with, which to me was Cameron Wake. Those were my 3, okay? And there's no disrespect to anybody, but those were the guys, okay? Go ahead.
Bobby, I completely agree with you on your 3, by the way.
Awesome.
This doesn't happen too often.
It doesn't.
This must be a good Saturday. We're talking about biting things, and now we agree.
That's right. I love it. And so now the one player I knew who I was going to pick, and Evan said it on here. He says number 25. I was going to say obviously Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard was the player who I would predict. But Brett challenged me. Brett said you can't pick Xavier Howard. Pick someone else. He picked Javon Holland, which I was like, that's great. He has no potential. He's shown it. But I started thinking about it, and Juan said the same thing. Juan said it before me, which he stole my thunder. But I said Jalen Phillips. I think Jalen Phillips, man, watching the growth he's had. Remember, we discussed it on the show during the season about we were a little disappointed with how he was performing at the first start of the season. But the whole defense was horrible.
Yeah.
The second half of the season, I mean, he had almost, I think, 9.5 sacks, 8.5 sacks. He turned it around. And this offseason, he's been busting his ass to get better and progress. And you watch him in practice, it's a whole different man. I mean, so
much bigger now, too.
I think Miami hit the jackpot with him and Holland. But I got to say, to me, if I had to pick, if you're telling me not Xavier Howard, I went with Jalen Phillips. So let me let you answer that, and then we'll get to the question between Ricky and what my other question. But if there's one current player on this roster, not Howard, who can you say that you go, man, I would predict that he would have his jersey retired?
That's a really hard question, Bobby, to be honest with you.
I get it.
And, there really isn't anyone on the team right now, in my opinion, that deserves that title. But if I had to pick somebody, I would want to pick one from the offense and one from the defense. And believe it or not, offense, I'm going to go Tua. Because I always take the quarterbacks because they're always the ones that become the front runners later on. That's the only reason I'm picking Tua, is because he's the quarterback. If his name was Hill and he was the quarterback, I'd still be picking him. Okay? So that's why I pick him. But you're right on Phillips. But you have Agba too.
Absolutely. Well, that's a good point. And that's why the next topic, or what we're discussing now, is very interesting, because it was something brought up. First off, Evan says number 17, Jalen Waddle. And then Jets gang, thank you for tuning in. Jets taking second place in division. Y'all can have number 3. I don't think so.
No, not this year.
No, sir.
Jets are going to have some firepower.
We appreciate you watching. Good luck to you. You guys had a good draft. But besides that, you ain't doing a damn thing.
Not this year. Not this year.
You ever seen the Four Horsemen? That's where you guys are going to be right there, 4th place. That's my prediction for you guys.
2023, the Jets will have a competitive team, though.
Absolutely.
I think they will have a winning record in 2023.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to give it to them. And Jets gang, thank you for tuning in. But we talked about it, Hank. The pre-draft, the Jets offseason, people were making fun of them, talking about, they couldn't get Tyreek, they couldn't get this and that, and I can understand all that whatnot. But the draft, they hit out that, to me, I mean, we'll see what happens during the season or how these guys progress, but they had a great draft. So Jets game, at least you can have that. I'll give you that. Besides that, I don't know, man. If the Dolphins have a question at quarterback, the Jets sure as hell do with Zach Wilson. But let's keep continuing here. Evan, why do you think vomit is great?
Yeah, I like that one. Way to go, Evan.
Hammer time. No way, Jetman. So let's go back to this topic with retiring jerseys, Hank. You were saying Ricky Williams, as great as he was in that short amount of time, you would not retire his jersey because he didn't finish it. Of course. Thank you, Jets gang. But now, with me and Juan, again, Brett chose Javon Holland, which I think was a great pick. He picked Tim Bowens as former Dolphin. We picked Cam Wake. So I thought it was so interesting because then they brought up Emmanuel Agba, 91. He's right there, almost right there with Cam Wake, who I love. But so my question for you, if you had to choose, they said, hey, Hank, you can choose one of these two, Ricky Williams or Cam Wake. Whose jersey are you going to retire?
Wake all day. He was consistently a beast on that field, And every time that man got on the field, they had to protect against him. Wake was dependable. He was team-oriented. And I just think he did so much for Miami. I got to go Wake all the way.
Awesome. I agree. And I love Ricky Williams, one of my favorite Dolphins of all time next to JT and Zach and Cam Wake. But it's just what it is. I mean, Cameron Wake, what he did from where he came from, at the spot that he came from, undrafted, played for the Giants as an undrafted, went to Canada, came to Miami, and I think he's second. Actually, I do have his numbers, don't I? Let me check that for a second. If I didn't, it's okay. But anyway, I think he's second all time in sacks behind Jason Taylor and tackles for loss. I mean, his just numbers are his stats are greater than we thought they are. If you look at his numbers, they're amazing. And yes, he is very deserving to have his jersey retired. But I'll tell you what, Emmanuel Akbot 91 is doing one hell of a job. And Hank, one of the ideas that Brett and I were talking about, or one of the things, what if Miami did what the Cowboys did, with their numbers? They didn't retire any numbers. They honor good or great players by giving them past great numbers. 88, Michael Irvin, CeeDee Lamb, Des Bryant, number 8. So that might be an option. If you want to retire a jersey, you give those numbers to a great player. Akbot obviously justifying that 91. But I can't see anybody wearing 99, 54, or 13. And 54, thank you, Brian Urlacher, for finally saying what people should be saying. Players should have the vote, not the damn journalists. Zach Thomas should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a damn shame. It's a joke for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I just want to shout out Brian freaking Urlacher, the Chicago Bears Hall of Fame linebacker. He said Zach Thomas' numbers are good or better than him and Ray Lewis, and he should be in there. There's no reason why. The only reason why he's not is that Brian Urlacher said the only reason why he thinks Zach Thomas may not be in the Hall of Fame is that he's 5'10". But we know that's sarcasm. So let's see here. Now, let's move on to our little main event here, Hank. We always keep it interesting and fun on FinsTalk today. And again, thank you for everyone who's tuning in. If you haven't yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at the FinsTalk Network. You can also, if you want to be a part, join the show, come on as a guest, message us. We'd love to have you on. If you want to debate, we're here all day.
Come on and debate. I'll debate you.
Absolutely. Hammer time. Evan, Jets gang. Hey, you want to come on? You want to do some kind of behind enemy line segment? We'd love to have you guys on and debate you on the Jets and Dolphins. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Now, let's get into the main event here. Fact or fiction? Everyone who's tuning in, you could answer as well. And if you're tuning in after the show, put your comments below in the comment box on YouTube, and we will respond. All right, first off, Hank, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We were talking about running backs earlier. Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Ahmed, Gaskin, whatever. White. Will the Dolphins' leading rusher? Let's see here. The Dolphins' leading rusher. Will the rusher be a wide receiver? Will the leading rusher for the Dolphins be a wide receiver? Fact or
fiction? Fiction.
All right. Fiction. I'm going fiction. I find it tough though. I think the wide receivers are going to be very involved in the running game this season. All right. Jalen Phillips will have more sacks than Emmanuel Akbot.
Fact.
I agree. Fact. All right. Oh, you're like this one. Teddy Bridgewater will start at least one game this season.
Fiction.
I say fact. History shows Tua misses at least a game. Injury.
No.
I'm going to say
fact.
Wait
a minute. Don't try to ice over that and move on, Bobby.
That's a fact. That's fact. His injury history.
No, it's not fact.
It's not fact. You better slow down on the green, my friend.
Well, I might be hitting on that green, but let me tell you something. Just because this kid had a messed up hip and
good point, Evan.
A life-changing hip injury shouldn't even be playing football probably. And you want to go by that and the Swiss cheese offense that got his ribs broken? Come on, man. That's not his fault. I say fiction.
I say you got to slow down on the green, my friend. It's fact.
The green train is running. Woo-hoo!
And I'll say Evan says fact for that. Last game, playoffs clinched. He won't play because he will have to sit the game so he doesn't have to play until they get into the playoffs. So I guess Hank doesn't believe they're making the playoffs. They're just going to sneak in. I think that's what Hank's trying to say. Thanks, Hank. Thanks for your positivity. Anyway, I'm just kidding. All right.
Defense. That wasn't just throwing a bunch of words in my mouth, was it?
All right. Defense will be top 5.
Yep.
Fact. For you?
Fact.
Fiction. I think they have an opportunity. I say fiction. I think they'll be better than the offense, but fact for you.
I know they definitely have a top 10. Now, whether or not they'll make it to 5, I'm not sure, but I still say fact because I mean, I was just looking at the defense last night and just going over how many great players are on it. There are so many players from the Miami Dolphins this year that could be going to the Pro Bowl if they have them. Mm-hmm. But there's so many players that could be voted in for that, which, is done by the players, of course. But I don't know. I see a lot of fact in that possibility.
Okay. And it's not a knock on the defense. I think the defense is going to be very good this year. It's continuing. They have the same defensive coordinator. They've added some pieces. The growth of Jalen Phillips and Javon Holland. I say fiction top 5, but I'm not saying that it's they could be a top 10 defense. I think they will be better than the offense rank wise, but I won't say top 5. Tua will have a Pro Bowl season. He will be in the Pro Bowl next year.
That's a fact. You don't like that, huh?
I love it. If it's good for me. If he made it, that means he did great. But I'm gonna say fiction. I think there's too many talented quarterbacks in the AFC that will push that. And plus, it's going to be a Russian style offense. I don't see it a lot of. I don't see him having the. I'm not going to say he's going to have a bad season. I'm just going to say that the way the offense is going to be built and the way the AFC is built with quarterbacks right now, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes, and Carson Wentz. Not Carson Wentz. Matt Ryan. And I just think I just can't see how he moves up to get to one of the top 3 to be Pro Bowl. And I think the offense will be rushing centric more than passing.
Now that I think about it, Bobby, you could be right because Super Bowl teams don't go to the Pro Bowl. So.
Oh, you're playing the Evan. Oh, I see what you did there. All right. I see what you did there. All right. So fact and fiction for Tua in the Pro Bowl. Hank, fact. I say fiction. Jalen Waddle will have more catches than Tyreek Hill.
Absolutely fact.
Fact. I agree with you. There's no denying that. Mike Gesicki will have more touchdowns this season than any receiver on the team.
Nah, that's fiction.
I say fact. I think he's going to be one of the best decoys in football. Not decoys. I'm going to say that's Tyreek in that situation. They're going to look at Tyreek. They're going to look at Jalen. They're going to look at the running game. That takes advantage of Gesicki in the middle center of the field. Touchdown Dolphins. Gesicki will have the most touchdowns this season, in my opinion. So I'm giving that a fact. What's up, Dolphin fan? Appreciate you joining us.
You know why I say what I say?
Go for it.
Who will have the most touchdowns this season? Mike Gesicki? No. You know why? Because Miami's going to be making touchdowns 30 to 50 yards out. And it's not going to be Gesicki that they're going to the most. It's going to be Waddle or Hill. And that's why I believe that.
Hey, all fun and games. Either way, it's a win for us. Gesicki will have better stats than Travis Kelce. Evan, I hope so. I will say that with Tyreek Hill gone, Kelsey's going to be a bigger factor in that Kansas City offense. I don't know about that. We'll see. Hammer time, fins up, as always. Red zone touchdowns for Mike. I agree. Mike Gesicki.
I agree with that.
Oh, okay. I agree with that. more touchdowns, better stats touchdown wise than Kelsey. That's a good. I agree with that. I think that could be the case. Now, Evan is in the comments, but you could watch Evan live on Monday night, 7:30 Eastern time. He is going to be on debate Brett on Tua's behalf. Evan will be there live. The debate for Tua's behalf for Tua stands, and then what you would consider, I guess, a Tua hater. So pro Tua, anti Tua, whatever you want to call it. Even though I won't go that far with Brett, but it's going to be fun. So if you guys want to join in that, Evan is mini Hank. That's what Evan says. If you want to join in on that conversation, watch it, cheer on Evan or Brett. Tune in live on Monday night, 7:30 Eastern time for a great overtime show. Just be those guys.
We didn't ask the last question yet.
What's the last question? Oh, excuse me. It's written up there. I didn't have it printed out. My bad. All right, fact or fiction. My bad, Hank. Thank you for reminding me. Fact or fiction. Will the Dolphins make the playoffs?
Yes, they will. But the question is, will they win the AFC East? And the answer to that is, yes, they will. Fact, fact, fact.
Is it? Will they make? Well, I say that. Yeah, I say fact to the playoffs. Fact to the playoffs. I'll say fiction winning the AFC East. Till I see otherwise, I say fiction. The Buffalo Bills will win the East.
Miami is going to beat the Buffalo Bills at least once this year. You don't think so, huh?
I hope so. I hope so.
You're not looking at our offense and our defense then, dang it.
I'm looking at history, my man. The
history's about to change and be remade.
That could happen. We'll see. Allen will choke. Come on, man. Come on, Evan.
I agree, Evan. He's going to throw the ball all over the place once our defense starts smacking him.
You guys are jinxing Tua, my man. You guys are jinxing Tua. Keep ragging. You're going to jinx Tua.
Go get him. Bills are going down.
Hyping it up only to be let down. Don't do it.
Down.
Lower your expectations.
Bills.
What's that called? Under promise, over deliver. Have your lower expectations so we can overachieve.
No. Overachieve in the first place, and it takes care of the rest.
All right. So, hey, you know what? I mean, this was fun. We had a lot of fun today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, watch Overtime on Monday to see Evan and Brett go at it. I know Hank will, because he will be definitely behind Evan's quarter. What's up, Chris? Thank you for tuning in. And of course, the Goon Squad on Wednesdays. If you like the Heat, tune in, or love the Heat, mind the Heat, tune into the Goon Squad. We had a lot of fun on Wednesday night, last Wednesday, and it just keeps going on from there. Thank you, Hammer Time. We appreciate you. And as always, Mr. Hank, if you haven't yet, follow him at Fins to Win on Twitter. Follow myself at Bobby FinsTalk. Follow the network at FinsTalk Network. And hit that smash that like and subscribe. I don't hit it. Smash it. Smash it. Follow us on YouTube and eventually on TikTok. And again, if you haven't yet, and you got a beard like this or a little fuzz like Mr. Hank, we are partnered up with Fable Beard Company. Get 15% off using FinsTalk 15. Take care of your beard. No flakes, no itchiness. Nice smell. Nice feel, so soft. Imagine that. Try it out, guys. I've been looking forever. Found Fable Beard. They are amazing. Love their stuff. I think they also have some CBD oil for you, Hank. So you guys try it. They got some CBD products. So check it out. Hit the link below or go to our Twitter page and use FinsTalk 15 for an extra 15% off. And as always, we will see you guys next Saturday. Enjoy your week. Fins up, everyone.
Doodle-doo, doodle-doo.